My name is Justin Siomana.
My name is Mahmoud Muhammad Hirsi.
My name is Giose Buchana.
My name is Jacques Sibumana.
I'm Juliet Tusabe. My name is Lillian Dumenyande.
Hi, my name is Enoch Fernando.
Yo, zigila nasema bwatuka pasuka kama shuka tena kama mvua za masika rap kama lapa mkali kama paka oya sasa hamuka tu utole kumekucha wamenifungua pazia chungulia kumesha pambasuka bado futashuka bongo kuzibuka baba usale sana utaua abroshtuka kisha zigila tu bongo kuzibuka baba usale sana.
My name is Justin Siomana. I'm 20 years of age. I'm originally from Rwanda. And I left Rwanda in 1994. In 1994 April, the president of Rwanda, Habyarimana's plane was shot down. At home, everyone was listening to radios and trying to know what's happening. And the next day, I heard people are saying, oh, there might war, like people can die probably because of this. And things just got worse and worse, and people are being killed, and it just became a holocaust. People are dying like every second. Whoever felt like killing, they just went out and killed. People will be taken out of their cars, and you'd wonder what's going to happen to these people. And obviously at the back of your mind you knew they were going to be killed. And you'd see people on the roads, dead bodies, and you were a very young a young child, and like you were wondering, what if my parent is taken, or what if my brother is taken, you know? And it was horrible. It was a very horrible experience, a horrible thing for anybody to go through.
Bon, nabotamaki na Angola, baparents baboti biso na mboka, bakimai bagueur. Mobali na ngai alingai nga na Kinshasa, tovandaki batemps mwa ebele, naboti mwana na ngai liboso. Après tango mwa Kinshasa pe komai na ba problème makabila wana, tobimaki toye Angola. Na Angola nabotaki bana na ngai o mibale. Après, tout le monde peut avoir moyen de nayaki liboso awa, nayaki na 2004. Donc, on a déjà na 2 ans awa. Une année, 6 mois après, le mobile nanga ekolanda na mois d'octobre.
I decided to come to South Africa because there was still a lot of trouble in Angola about the war and things like that. There was a military service, and then when you reach a certain age, you had to go register for military service. I didn't want to do that, so I thought, well, let me escape right now, because if I stay a bit longer, then things might be difficult for me to get visas, passport, and everything that you have to, any papers that you need to apply, you have to show that the registration, that military registration. So I said, well, I'm underage now, but in maybe 2 years' time, I'm gonna reach that age, so I don't wanna get caught up.
My name is Lillian Dumenyande, and I'm 20 years old, and I'm a student right now, first year at UCT, doing environmental science. I'm Juliet Tusabe. I'm in high school, grade 11, and I'm from Rwanda, and I've been here for 10 years. After the war, then we just went to Zambia, then we came from Zambia to here, because it's a better life.
I wanted to come to South Africa so I could continue my studies, because I was feeling a bit threatened that I wouldn't be able to to further my studies.
Wow, it was like, damn, it was beautiful. Because like when we came out of the station, we stood by the station, I looked at the house and all the houses looked the same and the mountains was beautiful. And like you saw beautiful houses in the mountain. On the mountain. And it was fantastic.
It was very difficult for me because I felt like I'm moving further and further and further away from where I actually originally came from. And just after I've made a new life in Kenya, now I have to move to South Africa. So you feel like you're dispositioned and you don't know where you actually belong now. And you wonder, sure, like, I'm probably going to settle in South Africa and then after that I'm going to move again. So you feel like your life is just now all over the place. And now having from Kenya, I had to learn their language, and then you get to South Africa, whoa, now they have a different language, totally different. Now you have to learn their language as well. And as a kid, you just really feel a bit confused and you don't know, I didn't know how to react to the whole thing. I had a very good life in my country. My dad we had everything we needed. There was no reason for me to be here. But I am here, not because I want to, but because I'm forced to be here.
There were some challenges when I came to school here because everything was completely different from what I was used to back in Rwanda, and the language, the education system was different.
We were the first refugees at that school, and most of them didn't know how to handle us because we couldn't speak English, and mostly it was when we couldn't speak English, so you found that you didn't have any friends, so you have friends that like your sister or something.
When I first started in junior school in grade 8, you find that kids are a bit more, who is she? Because I think they're so used to their normal environment, and when you come in, they're they kind of push you a bit away, so they're not very welcoming.
I started realizing that there was some differences, people from here would be like, oh, your hair is so different, or why, or like a friend of mine, they used to tease her because they used to say her arms smell like ununka makopa or something. That's what they used to say. So, but they didn't understand for some people that's not important. You just have to go to school. That's all that matters and stuff. Yeah.
South Africa is being good to me, and it's been bad to me as well in a way. But because they have given me an education, something that I probably wouldn't be able to get if I was back in Angola. Because I know a lot of my brothers, they're older than me, and they haven't got the same education that I have. It's not because they didn't want to get, but it's because of the situation there. When you finally get accepted, then it's another challenge, because you don't have the funds, and you apply for bursaries that you already know that you're not gonna get, because the bursaries schemes are mainly for South Africans. At least South Africa has given me a little opportunity to go to school, even though it's been very hard for me, because I had to pay for my own school fees. I had to work and study at the same time. Plus, you have so much other stuff to pay, and you only get so much from your work, and you cannot work for like a full time, because you're doing a full time study as well.
I'm working as a graphic designer for a magazine called The Big Issue. I was very lucky and I got employed at The Big Issue, because I was thinking after college, then what? Because I didn't have money to put me through to university. And so when I got the job, I was ecstatic. I was like, I had to work extra hard, more than my South African friends, because I know they're in their country and they have access to whatever they need. I didn't even have access to a loan to study further, so I knew I had to work really harder than they would. So I was very happy when I was selected to work as an intern at the Big Issue, because I thought, now that I have the opportunity, I could work really hard and get my mark, and just maybe have something to show for what I can do. I'll be done with your stuff today, Jermaine. So it used to be this girl who used to work at work, and she'll be like, sure, how come, like, you know, you find South Africans at your age, you don't have this opportunity, you know? So there was a bit of that, that they feel that, oh, how come you here and my neighbor is not here and she's your age, you know? That you do find a bit of that. But my boss knew that I did my job, and so I think they felt that I deserved to be there, so that's probably why they kept me there.
A lot of us, we have skills. A lot of us, we're trying to educate ourselves, and so that we can contribute not only to our life, to the life of the community where we live, to the life of also to the country, because we believe in here. A lot of us been living here for 10, 20 years, and this is what we know. We don't know much about our country. We left there since we were kids. This is our home, away from home. It's like our second home. We were trying to build this as well.
Some refugees are very, very, very poor, because when they come here, the only job they can find is being security guard, and being a security guard does not provide enough for like a family of 5 people. But some refugees, I mean, I say I was very fortunate to actually find a good job, but some of them don't. So you find that they live a lonely life because South Africans are not very welcoming to them.
The South Africans, they live differently. Like even blacks, the blacks in colored, or even blacks itself. There's some black people that live in townships. Some they have a normal life. The parents have a good job and they have a normal household. They have everything in the house. But some of them they live very critical life. They live in like shacks, and it's like the house is very small.
It's strange you find somebody staying in a house for instance, in Mowbray, and there's a local guy, South African guy, staying in a informal settlement like in Kailicha, and he feels very threatened. He's like, what's wrong with this guy? I can't find myself a house, but yet he's staying here in a nice area. He's got a transport. Basically, like, they create this resistance group among themselves. I'll put it in that way, like, to fight off against the refugees or the foreigners, as they are the threat to them, like somebody who's taking their last chance of freedom they have. So yeah, they express this in anger, I'll say in uncivilized way, like beating refugees or killing some of them, which doesn't solve any problem at all.
The people who are here, mainly Somalians, are youth men who are Muslims. They do on their business and they work hard. That's all. Their life is working and earning. So they don't have a friends, they don't have a families, they don't have a wife, South African wives, you know. So we are so small knit community.
Most refugees, we are scared to go into like the townships and stuff, because I know there's a lot of bad stories that happen to refugees that go to townships. So it's hard to try and learn about their lifestyle and everything if you can't go there and interact with them or like live there. Personally, for me, I've had friends which live like in Guguretu and Retreat and everywhere, but I have never gone to visit friends which live in Guguretu or Kairicha or Lavender Hill. But I can go visit whoever lives in Orbs and Retreat.
Why not there?
Because there you know that it's so separated. It's only blacks there, and you know that most people, they don't like refugees.
Why do you not like refugees?
I don't know why. I don't know.
Why it's only black there?
Well, because of apartheid, because they were separated into different regions, and blacks were put in these regions, and colours were put in these regions, and whites were put in these regions. So when I mix with people, I go to where they are mixed. I don't go to where they're just alone.
Yeah, I think the history has plays a role in it as well, because people were like taught they were like used to be welcome to each other. They will discriminate against each other. Even it was like a legal by the government, and now the system was ended, and now there was like a new area, and people were trying at least to find a spot, because black people they were the oppressed one, and they were trying like there was a lot of hope for them, thinking that they would get like a lot of opportunities, houses, jobs, and stuff like that. And when the refugees came, when we came, and now we also came like to fight for those jobs.
Where a refugee person doesn't matter is a degree or no degree, he will go for any job that is available. So it finds South African that like these guys are competing against us because they're getting the low job and we don't want that job, and so it's making it difficult for them to understand why is he getting a job and I'm not getting a job.
We as refugees, we came here, you have to survive, you have to go out there look for a job. You have to go out, you have to live somewhere, you have to go find a shelter, rent a house. And now the South Africa would see that and they would think that job should be mine. Or what this refugee person is getting. This house where he's living, it should be mine. This clothes that he's wearing should be mine.
I think the economics, it plays a big role in whatever's going on in people's lives. People are so self-focused these days. I just want to get what I need. Stuff you, okay? I want to be first in the queue. Stuff you. And the system of government that we have now doesn't make it possible to have that kind of Ubuntu perspective on things. It's every man for himself, you know. So that's why people, I mean, in the old days, when I was growing up in Gugulethu, if there's a need in your house, you go to the neighbor, you understand? You will have neighbors, kids sitting around, the neighbor will come up and dish supper, everybody will eat, understand? But now people don't, they sit in their houses, people are putting up walls, and the people who have money, even the black people who have money, they go and sit in a nice area where they have nice high walls, security and everything, to keep other people out. You know, so I mean, we sort of like we've developed into a sense of like I just need to take care of myself and my own. So the Ubuntu concept is sort of busy dissolving. You find it maybe amongst people who know each other, which is sad. That's not the point of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is just I see a human being in need. If I can lend a hand, let me lend a hand. But it's not happening anymore.
There's a people also who are competing with you, who got the business around you. South Africans, Xhosa people, black people, whatever you call it, in any way you call. Other people, they got skills and they got integrated to the blacks. But we Somalians, we are not integrated to the blacks.
Refugees are very afraid of South Africans because they think they're not safe. And so you find that most refugees actually just live in the inner city. So there's that huge gap, the separation between South Africans and refugees.
Wadudu karibuni pangu na kwangu ni kwenu, mezani pana kidogo riziki halali kwa ajili yenu. Ni chakula cha kinyumbani, ugali kachumbari, supu la pilipili, lochoro kitanono, makongoro na vionjo vya asili. Sasa basi, kabla ya kuketi kwenye stuli, tunawe mikono tusali, kisha tule mkate wetu wa kila siku.
There was a time in my life when I didn't understand why South Africans were being the way they are to refugees. I mean, I wonder, why are they being so difficult to us? Why are they acting the way they do? I mean, I'd ask myself, if these people came to my country, would I treat them the way they're treating me, you know?
Wadudu.
I once watched a movie by the name of Mr. Ibu. If you watch that movie, it gives you the background of where these people are coming from, the way they live, their houses. If you see, they are... It's like... When they cook, the pots that we use on the stove, they use the pots outside. The green things that you don't even know, they cook them in the pot and they dish with a stave-a-pap, a big stave-a-pap with a piece of that, and they will eat that finish. When they wash their clothes, it's like outside and hang them and all that. And now they come here in South Africa, they're living in town, there are these Mr. Bosses, and then they're like, they own more than us, and we are shuttered here in Kailicha. These people are coming from places like this, they don't even have toilets, they go out there and like, on the bushes, and like the other one will say, hey, and he will greet like, hi, under the bushes. I'm like, oh, okay, is this the background? Oh, anyway, there's no place like home.
All that has to be taught to people is that discrimination against everyone is wrong. Because we discriminate against our fellow South Africans, which is scary to me. That's a scary thought. If I discriminate against her, what is the future of this country?
And also
we are very
people like Guguleti people are discriminating like Kailicha people.
See,
so it's only the same.
We are very much likely to end up like them. We're very much likely to end up like them, being torn apart by war, running to neighboring countries, and being called names. And we won't understand when they call us names.
I was in Zambia for 12 years. Out of this 20 years, I've just told you about. It was 20 years all in all. I left here in 1972 and I came back 1992. When I got there, I had no place of my own, to work from. But the Zambian government was providing accommodation for us as expatriates. And not only that, they used to make sure that your kids are well settled in schools. I've traveled in all these other African states. They were South Africans. Actually, when you see the South Africans outside there, you wonder if there are any South Africans left in South Africa. I've been to England, there's South Africans. I've been to America, there are South Africans. They come together. And once they're out there, you don't see this other division to say this one is Zulu, this one is Xhosa. We are just South Africans. And of course, there's always been this myth or understanding that people from the north of South Africa we were better than them, somehow. I've never been able to know exactly why. Because when I got to exile, I was surprised to find that those people were more educated than us. A lot of things I learned from the Zambian junior nurses. They are called Zambia enrolled nurses. I was a state registered nurse from South Africa, senior to them by profession. But as far as work was concerned, a lot of the job I learned from them.
South Africa has a lot of shortage of skills, and it's funny because they have these people here with lots of skills, but they can't hire them because they're refugees. Refugees. Yeah.
Engineers, doctors.
Yeah.
We think that everything that comes from overseas, abroad, is better than what we have in Africa. That's why they rather go to Cuba, to go to
and that
Europe.
Needs to change.
Yeah, pay a lot of money to them rather to hire what's already here.
I think it goes back to like colonization, where whites were seen as having everything and coming and taking over, and now Africans sees whites as being like on top of them or being superior than them. Because I know in my country, if you're rich, they'll say, or you live in a nice house, they'll say you live like a white person, or they call you umuzungu, which umuzungu is a white person. So as well here, when like people from Europe come here and live here, whites, when they live here, they're not discriminated against because the same thing is that we still see them as being higher than us.
Why is it that Kurikiris are only Africans, not Europeans?
If I could get a man, I'll go to Belleville. I'll say this is Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even call this is a part of. Don't even call this is a part of South Africa. No. This is a Zimbabwe. Only because the smell shit. Selling fakes. I don't know what to say. It's a dirty place. Okay, it's like a pig style there.
Xenophobia is a fear of the unknown. So these people don't know what refugees are about, and they don't have information about refugees. So when refugees come to their countries, when these people from other African countries come to their country, they are a bit afraid of them and they have no idea how to react to them. So that's how, and they try to build this wall between refugees and themselves because they're afraid of these people. They have no idea where they come from or what's their situation or for the reasons for them being here. That's why I think they try to create this wall between them, and the only way they can do that is by fighting them.
Quelque temps après, avec Kozomsala, bon, à travers qui a un bias sécurité. Bon, les 27 avril, ils ont qui férié. À Kenya Kosala, Kenya na Tongo. Tant que 19h a été, 19h30 a été. Nazo comprendre été, na Kosala nini, na Obandela, ndengeni. Ba 12h ba sécurité ba yokanaki bato basa ba grève wana. Ba yokanaki ba utaki langa, ba uti mi displaced, ba uti kailicha, ba utaki par-ci par-là. Ba ki po ba buka soki ni kelele. Nini a editi ya ba sécurité kaka. Bon tant ba leki wana ba moni mutuka o ekende kotika e. Ba moni ke non a sécurité azo sala. Siko mobile nanga pe tanga moni groupe wana ezoya akimaki. Tango akimi akotaki na voiture wana ya city police. Comme bazali ba noir, ba kansaki peut-être ali mutu na bango. Bon tango moni kaza na aza na étranger ba kitisi. Tango ba kitisi nde babandi siko groupe wana muso etikalaki eye wana babandi ko bamba e ba mabanga ba nzete ba nini babandi ko beta e. Le temps siko babandi ko benga ambulance ya ki na reta. En plus ba camion muso ba police ya ki wana tango e déjà batu basi ba panzana ki ba memaki na hôpital eza na observatrice na rotescrit ba réanimer ba monika ya ça ne va pas quoi muto akobika na été aki kokufa na 4 heures quelques minutes comme ça na habité. Nazo ba vraiment ndena ko expliquer to yo moko zo mona nde bana batikali mobali alandi ngai ayepo aluka vi po na bala na ye sibitima babomi. Donc so na kanise zo sala nga ba vertige na mutu dona zo comprendre tende na ko expliquer nde na tikali. Donc nazo ba nde na oboko la bano te. Na ngai moko vi na ngai katani obala kufi bana batikali mike nazo ba te na ko vivre comment.
Didn't know this is what's gonna come, or a person can die in a way that shouldn't be dead this way. If it was dead in the other way, people could understand, but just die like that, it's very heart-paining.
Asinam sebenzi bona bayapeya.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean londo ngabangathi
ngabantwana. They deserve to kube ubulawa babethu. They deserve it.
Do you know what, guys?
They organized the private securities and they stood on those premises where there were no securities. What's that?
With their civilian clothes. They were offering themselves. They were working. Day and night they were working while our brothers were fighting here for them to get the increase as well.
You can understand as a South African, if you go on strike for 3 months, that's understandable because this is you've got your fellow brothers and your sisters to support you. Those guys are coming from those countries. They have to pay rents, they have to buy food, they have to provide for their families.
To sit
so how can you afford for 3 months to sit around?
They can't afford that. They'll be living on the streets.
And also we're talking about democracy. I mean, as far as I understand it, democracy, they had the right to choose whatever they want to do.
this xenophobia, if it's not sorted out, it could leave a lot of people in worse situations that, I mean, even in their own countries, because it's like you leave your country hoping for a better future in South Africa, and you get here, and now she's gonna really suffer, and her children are gonna suffer. And these are some things South African people should be shown and understand the consequences of what they're actually doing.
magacayga waxaa la yidhahdaa cabdi cali bisle waxaana ka imaaday Soomaaliya waxaana ka soo cararay dagaal sokeeya oo danka ka dhacay aan ka soo cararay halkaan waxaan u imaaday nabadgelyo in maardi aan ku halo waxaana maardi igu dhacay in maardi dukaan yar aan leeyahay igu soo weeraray oo maardi la xabadeeyay oo lugta waxa iga gaareen oo maardi la igu xabadeeyay ninkii gaarsiin ma garanayo
say kugu dhacday arintaas
habeenkii 7 saac habeenimo ayaa 6 nin ay soo weerareen oo bastoolo ay wataan irida ay soo jibiyaan lugba waxa iga gaarsiiyaan waxaan oo iga qaateen oo ay yahay
magacayga oo Cabdullaahi Muraad Nuur waxaan ku dhashay waxaan ka imid Soomaaliya South Africa waxaan u imid nabadgelyo labadii nin ee walaalada ahayd waa lagu dilay meesha dukaankaygana oo naga soo cararay ninkii dilayna waan garanayaa iyo cid dishayba waxna loogama qabanin abtunaanu dukaanka waa haystaan shalay ayaa la ii sheegay inay dukaanka alaabta ay ka gubtay.
There was a robbery guys who come in my shop, then they took whatsoever that it was there in the shop and they put in my in my eye a knife.
It's a gunshot, this thing. It's a gunshot.
Every night we're sleeping with the worries who's next. Like said, last night was one of the brothers was killed also. Yeah, every night 2 or 3 of the brothers are getting killed.
If it was South Africans who that was being done to, it would have been probably a bigger scandal, it would have made bigger news. But maybe because it was just the refugees, they think, oh, it's just refugees, which is a very, I think, sad thing.
I'm not happy at all the way I see refugees treated in this country. Actually, not only now, even while we were there, I used to feel very, very, very embarrassed to see how those people are treating us, because I knew back home they were not regarded as good people at all. It's not the government that is ill-treating these people. It's us, we South Africans. And I cannot tell you why. I would like to say it's because people here at home have not been, anywhere else except South Africa. It's ignorance.
We go through so much. We are traumatized, and when we go to South Africa and these people are not accommodating, it's even more difficult. You find a lot of refugees committing suicide because they know, from everything they've gone through, and they're here, and a bit of love would help them, but they don't get it. It just really finishes them off, and a bit of support from South Africans would be very helpful.
It's such a heart on my chest, feel I gotta express things that affect me before I lay myself to rest. That's why I'm sitting at the round table, cause my situation ain't no profound fable. People on my blocks lack real education, cause many of us we still trapped in the basement. And how in the hell can we...
I live in a community which is mixed. We have black, we have colored, we have refugees, and I haven't seen like any conflict between this group and this group, or because of your race. Once you get around people, you learn from each other, and you just become comfortable with one another and your differences and everything.
We left in Nelspruit in 2000, and when we came to Cape Town, I found it speaking closer. It wasn't that different from the Swati or the Zulu, so it was easy for me to pick up also from where I left off, and I got to learn all those languages like that, and My friends were very surprised to hear me actually speaking local languages with them, which was like very encouraging for me to be able to communicate with other African people in their own language.
I have had and still have a lot of South African friends. In fact, I think I have more South African friends than I have like the Angolan friends in South Africa, because I've been going to high school and there were like more South Africans and than the other refugees. And I have gone to their houses. I have gone to the township. I have spent a lot of time with the South African people.
Refugees, we have a role to play in this, and government as well, because government knows that they have refugees and they accept refugees in the country, so they should maybe, like in school curriculums, for example, teach these young people about what refugees is about, or teach them more about what's happening in the other African countries, or tell them why refugees are here. So when they go out there and they meet refugees, they know why they're here. So it's gonna be they're gonna be more tolerant to them.
And I think refugees, they're trying to show South Africans that they're not the enemies here, you see. So basically they want to show them that if they work together, they can bring this country to better futures within. As there are many refugees running their own small businesses and they're employing South Africans who don't have work, same as there are South Africans employing refugees. So if they were to put a spirit together, in my perspective, they will push South Africa to a better place. They will increase the country in economy and even social life.
Okay, let's talk. I'm from the flat store with dirty police in Teflon vest store. Cracks board on every ghetto block. You can hear this shot.
To the government, the people in government, you know? I mean, stop making laws that you can't implement. That's my message to them. If you're going to put nice policies about refugee status and what have you, make sure that those things get implemented. You can't just bring people here and let them come in, then you just ignore them. Then tell them to come in once a month to get a piece of paper. That's not solving a problem. It's going to give rise to a lot of other issues.
I would really pray that we really take this opportunity to come together. Charity begins at home. If we're not together here in South Africa, I don't see us uniting with the people from outside.
We need to revisit who we are as human beings. You know, we just need to see another person, not just see a piece of paper like, you've got an ID or not. So, I mean, it's going to take a while, it's going to take a lot of work. But I mean, we need some kind of government structure to initiate these kind of things amongst the people.
I think South Africans should have a bit of more Ubuntu in them. They claim to have Ubuntu, but do they really have Ubuntu? Because if they did have Ubuntu, they'll be welcoming to other African people. Because we are all really African at the end of the day.
We're no longer into the colonial times. We should try to change and try to live with one another and try to, because the world is becoming one now and everybody's mixing up.
I think if Africans could develop sense of unity among each other, help each other no matter what part of Africa you're coming from, I think Africa will be one of the best continents to live in.
I learned from Congolese people about their culture. I learned from Angolan because I'm from Rwanda. I learned about Angola from an Angolan person. I'm interested in finding out about, our African continent, a beautiful continent, not what South Africans think it is.
Why can't we live like normal people and just make this world a better place?
If you were in my shoes, in our shoes, what would you do?
Kubamisana kupandu wena kwa samu
kubamiza kubamiza na kupanda kwenda kwa zamu ndugu yangu kutuza kwa zamu leo kwako kesho kwangu isipata kukugombania mzungu kupika na majungu pete kirongo ni bora uwe bubu manifiko kikizo kuchukaneke chukukina kizunguzungu kizunguzungu mzee ogopaka zeze kachuzi kwa zamu kufuka zamu kuzikina kwa zamu jana ulikuwa na zamu zamu leo na Mariamu kabadi bam bam bamiza kubamiza na kupanda kwenda kwa zamu ndugu yangu ulimi mtamu na maneno ni matamu kabadi bam bam bamiza